sometimes in life we make big mistakes. And so what I wanted to do here is do all of these alphabetically, and I couldn't know that this month was going to be 7 small stuff modifiers, but that is totally fine. We're just going to do it anyway. If we lose, we'll use an appropriate champion instead, but this will be a way to show off every single champion and, deal with the challenges presented to us with what we have. So for challenge 1, we're using Aatrox. He has 2 A's in his name, which makes him first. And I'm just going to take Lysandra here, no specific reason. And I don't think we need anything. So one thing I'm not going to do that I normally do is stick to rare relics, because we're using just alphabetically. I'm just going to use whatever is available to each champion, and I think that will be fine. My Aatrox is very strong. I got him to 6 stars, so I think he'll be just fine. So for Aatrox, the general idea is that you get him on the board. Need to turn something off. Yeah, you got him on the board. He strikes very hard. He's cheaper to play because of Disciple of Shadows, and then you can use these equipments, things that are equipped, because of his 4-star power. You get +2/+2, and then you attack and you win the game. Even if you're not winning the game, you reduce the cost of your spell World Ender. And then the World Ender spell will make everything that's equipped with the Darken equipment a Darken, and then you win the game that way. The 6-star power doubles the stats of every Darken when they're transformed, which is an extremely powerful thing. Challenge 2 is Ashe. For this, we are going to be using Ahri. This is another champion I have at 6-star. A relic is Hidden Tome, Hymn of Valor Curators. This is just true. If you have Lost Chapter, use that instead of Hidden Tome. Or if you don't have Hidden Tome, you can use Lost Chapter instead, I guess is more accurate. And I think this is just her best build, kind of regardless of Epic Relics or not. The idea is you just play her a bunch of times and she wins the game automatically. You can take Consuming Wrath, that's fine. We're winning through replaying, not through blocking. You also don't even need to attack, really. And you do want cards that have the word recall on them. But we didn't find any, but that's still probably fine. They drop Ahri, she does some damage. Redoubled Valor. You have to pass here because we're out of mana. Use Charm to recall. We can replay. Redouble Valor again. Drop Mr. Root here. And then we're not going to win here because of this blocker, but normally you'd be able to win like that. We're also, again, out of mana. You can Sprite Dance here for nothing. Take Homecoming because it says recall on it. Drop Ahri again. The Ashe ability kind of disabled our 6-star ability, which is when we recall, we also deal damage to the enemy nexus, which makes it twice as fast. But, I mean, overall, obviously it's fine. Next we have Akshan. I have mine at 3 stars. I haven't bothered to level him up because I don't like him. I don't think he's very good. But this is what I'm told is the best relic setup chosen by the stars: Echoing Spirit, Perfect Hex Core. This is obviously an expensive build to run. It does contain a pay-to-win relic with Perfect Hex Core, and it's a 3 epic setup, so I don't think it's particularly accessible. So even if this is his best setup, it kind of sucks anyway, because you need that to, win. Do need ways to target him, which is why perfect hex score matters. We can just skip here.
Every tapestry begins with a single stitch.
But I think the idea is that you play grappling hook on him a bunch of times, and then that gets through your Warlord's Palace and also the other thing. Sentinel Sword, Warlord Sword, and then you can just play a bunch of spells all at once, and then you win. I believe that to be the idea. Generally, I find the problem with Akshan is that he lacks inherent overwhelm, and then also, usually when you're finishing off these landmarks, it's like after your attack, so you don't really get the advantage of them before your attack, and that just feels really weak. And since generally speaking I'm not playing with epic relics, yeah, he's just worse. I think you really want Chosen by the Stars, at least. I think Chosen by the Stars probably fixes most of his issues. Obviously there we had literally 0 problems.
I have my orders.
So you do have to be aware of the suffer affix here. Dealing 3 to our units means we can't block, basically. And then I think the idea behind Echoing Spirit is that you can play Grappling Hook a bunch of times. And then Grappling Hook is a target and also a strike, which means you can do that, basically. You advance your landmark 2. And since they're created cards, because Echoing Spirit creates them, they also will trigger on Augment. I think that's what Augment does, right? I don't know. Whatever, who cares?
Remember the objectives.
Didn't I play that spell first? Maybe I just targeted weird. Yeah, for example, if we finish this horde now, we get no usage out of it. And if we didn't have perfect hex score, we wouldn't have been anywhere close to being able to finish off that Sentinel's horde. Next we have Ambessa. I like double Stalker's Guardian Angel. Sometimes Stalker's double Guardian Angel, depending on context. And I have her at, I think, 4 stars? And I haven't, there's no reason to go beyond that. Her 6 star is nice, but there's no point in it. She's incredible. Some people play it for conscription, which is a thing you can do. I think that Ambessa, just kind of on her own, can attack enough times that nothing else really matters, and she just kind of wins the game. Cost reduction, of course, always good. And this Zoe has Salty Dogs, which is Bilge Water discount, but obviously we're not gonna make any use of that. Can play a unit here. So, what's nice about Ambessa with Guardian Angels, when she dies, she'll come back and do Stalker's Blade, which I think is very strong. We're gonna play in Conscription here. All of these things will become much stronger because there's 3 of them. You get a Midnight Raid. I think technically using Midnight Raid on the units that you have more of is actually correct instead of just Ambessa, but I think it's funnier that way. So. And Rictus is absolutely broken. being able to stun on attack is very, very strong. Next we have Annie. I'm using double Dreadway and Guardian Angel. Idea is when Annie dies, you get 2 more Dreadway chase guns. Or 4 warning shots, I guess, is actually correct. And this is against Ezreal and Fiora. Special rules are incapacitation damage. Players damage units can't block and embrace the current. When you play a spell, they refill 1 spell mana. I don't think, like, this is a thing I would normally do here. I don't think Annie would play well into this. But overall it should be fine. We're not really worried about anything. Medical Student's very good. Disintegrate. I don't think I want Grifter's deck, even though it does draw a card. You're just going to be replacing it with itself. I think double Mana Soul Student will give us a little bit of extra damage, which should be fine. Ideally, you're looking for something like Shadow Totem or Stabilize on Annie. Depending on like how many hit points the enemy Nexus has, sometimes you want to be using Luden's Tempest. There's a lot of things to consider. If Annie dies, we're thrilled. And I think we can just drop Dancing Droplet now, and then just attack him in the game. She's one of the better champions because she does have stun available to her as well. And as I've said before, stun is probably the most broken thing in Runeterra. Generally speaking, you don't want to take health bonuses because you're trying to get Annie killed. And if you ever have 2 of her in hand, that's just a really good time. Shadow Totem won't do anything here because we just don't have hand space. I shouldn't have played it, I should have waited for the Static Shock first. Ahri does recall. So by recalling Ahri, we're going to be able to replay Annie, which will hit that Shadow Totem again. Now that we have more hand space, we'll get more use out of it. Ashe is another champion I got to 6-star. The ideal here is triple curators. The 6-star power is whenever you frostbite, you spread the power of what you've frostbitten across your units in hand. So as soon as Ashe's power is 3 times the opponent's nexus, you automatically win the game. So presumably here you would be looking for just more power as well. That's kind of funny. And I don't really need anything here, so just skip. And the special rule here is natural magic and heroics. So heroics will be fine because we're going to frostbite and we're actually just going to get more advantage out of it. And natural magic will let us play out all of our non-Ashe units so that Ashe is the only thing in hand, because this is kind of the problem with Ashe. You just have all the units in your hand, and that means Ashe isn't actually getting any of the frostbite advantage. Gonna drop a unit in Radiant Strike so we can get Ashe in hand. Then we'll play the Trapper, play the Sentry, play the Lucian, and now all power bonuses will go directly to Ashe. So if we Flash Freeze, she'll get +4 power. She can now do 27. So wait for the next frostbite. 14 times 3 is 42. Challenge 7 is Ashe and Swain. Special rules are repetition. When any player plays a spell, they copy it with the same targets. And Sneaky Manta around start. If a player has spell mana, the foe steals 1. For this we're using Aurelion Soul. Aurelion Soul is weird because you kind of want every strong epic relic in the game. These are all pay to win. But he's also just one of the strongest champions, and you don't need any of that. But he still just gets much better the more of it you put on. So it's just kind of a weird situation to be in. Cost reduction always good. Going to Ashe. Aurelion Soul just wins the game. Like you play him and he wins. He generates level 2 champions. When you play him, he clears the board. You can play him on turn 1. That kind of thing. So we're going to drop a Solari Priestess. Idea is that you invoke because of Daybreak. Because of repetition, that's going to play twice. It'll let us play Evelynn for free. Evelynn's a created card, so she reduces the cost of Aurelion Soul. And I don't have the attack token, so I can't attack. Frostbite sucks. We're gonna, I think, just drop Aurelion Soul here. Take the Scourge. Picked up Elusive, that doesn't help. But we do have the Scourge, which will give everything Overwhelm. That's basically how that goes. Aurelion Soul is really good. Most broken champion in the game, probably. Although 6-star Swain exists, so hard to say. You do want a card you can play, which is something that I didn't really do there. Moon Silver is fantastic because it is cost reduction. We can also play it more times because of repetition here. And this Aurelion Soul's already free, and we still have more Moon Silver, so obviously we win the game. Drop Evelynn, drop Callista, drop Aurelion Soul, pick the Scourge. Scourge is probably the best card to take there. Get created. Oh no, he pulled True Reflection. Anyway. Round 1 attack for 100, very normal things. Challenge 8 is Azir with repetition and domination. So domination's actually kind of scary on Azir. I might note that on my thing. So generally speaking, I'll use Echoing Spirit, Chemtech Duplicator, and Grand General's Counterplan on board. Idea is that you can get a bunch of chimes out and then make your units giant. Bard is pretty good. Used to be one of my favorites. It's kind of about class now, but he was pretty good. Taking Dragon's Tooth would be fine. RF's better. So a lot of times with Bard, you're just trying to survive until you've played, until he levels up, and then if you can get down any unit with lifesteal, you can kind of just heal back to full, and then everything's fine. Getting to that point can be a little bit difficult, but I think we should be fine with repetition and Grand General's Counterplan. We'll be able to put a lot of chimes into the deck. Forgot that we're gonna get attacked every round. kind of no point in blocking. It's only going to prevent 1 damage. If I can get a little more power onto Banana Blaster. Not enough. Now we do have enough, we can get rid of Azir. Emperor's Divide probably kills me here. I think I'm okay. And we did proc lifesteal, so we're fine forever now. Less fine. Might be able to... I don't know if we can grow them to 8. We'll try. We did it. And even if this guy dies, I mean, we'll gain all our hit points back. Units are super swole. Challenge 9 is Caitlyn and Draven. Special rules are on guard. Round start, create a fleeting combat and ults, player's hands, and echoes from the deep. Foes units have +0/+1, cannot talk right now. And we're going to use Caitlyn. Have her at 5-star, which means she's missing mana flow, so 4 and 6. And for relics, I'm using Harmless Scarecrow. When you play a card that costs 3, you Terrify. It's supposed to be good on her. I don't know if it actually is or isn't. Frozen Tomb gets you an extra Caitlyn on board. And of course Hextech Rifle. This is her pay-to-win relic. I think it actually kind of makes her build work. Without that, I don't know, it should have just been her star power. Her 6-star power gives you an ace in the hole, which is fun. There are no 0-cost champions. Hopefully they make one sometime. That'd be really nice. This will add extra traps, which I think is fine. And adding power to built up for Peacemaker is never bad. Actually, I like this Rummage as well. It'll be free, and you can cycle your cards to find something that you want in case you get bad luck. Drop House Swamp here. If I had been smarter, I would have saved mana for single combat. Although I wouldn't have had anything to single combat with, so I guess maybe that wasn't a smarter option. Ace in the Hole does 10 damage. If there are no enemies, it does it to the Nexus instead. It has Overwhelm, and it has a 50% chance to do double damage, so there we just did 20 damage. And then, obviously, attack and win. Pretty broken. Take Scout, seems good. Remove a card, usually your most expensive. Yeah, why not? Seems fun. I don't think we'll get to that round anyway. Draven makes a free Draven every round. Play this as a blocker. Attack with Scout.
Let's investigate. Laying the groundwork. Closing in on the mark. No backup needed.
If I ace in the hole, they might single combat back. I'm not sure I want that to happen. I'm not sure I have like a good solution for it either. That worked.
There's good in people, Victor.
So now we'll ace in the hole. X core, use Sheriff Piltover, drop another thing.
Close in on this location.
Didn't proc as many traps as I would like, but I think we just kind of win the game anyway.
This is gonna hurt. Time for the moneymakers.
Next we'll be using Darius, Stalker's Blade, Packed Powder, Scourge's Stash. That gets him on board really early, which I think is good. There is Chronicle of Ruin here, so round start kill all units and revive them. Maybe we want to do Guardian Angel instead? And then we have, on the case, the foe's units have Nexus Strike, Plant 1, Flash Bomb Trap in the top 8 cards. Although, I don't know that Guardian Angel really matters here. Like a 1 health Darius isn't really doing anything for me. And then you would need Star Gems to go along with it. I think overall it's probably not that great. Again, this isn't a choice I would make on purpose necessarily. This will be basically infinite healing.
Trust nothing but your strength.
Sejuani doesn't really do anything. Her power's pretty bad. I'm sure when they release her as a Nightmare Adventure, she's gonna have like, when a foe summons a unit, grant them all +8/+8 or some thing to that effect. I think I'd rather have him die later. But I have another one in hand, so that should be fine. I should be able to cycle them infinitely. So my plan was to cycle them infinitely. I guess I still could. But I also could have just played Darius there, which probably would have been better. Up Iron Ballista. Drop Darius. Darius's thing is when you attack with 15 power, you rally. Kind of picked a support champ that's antithetical to his win condition, which is just attack really quickly, really hard. But it's fine. Everything is fine. Going to Taliyah, she summons landmarks. We have Death's Hand so we can proc thing that helps Plunder. They're at 14 power, we need one more. That's basically how you win with Darius, you just attack twice. Diana is a champion I haven't really been able to get a handle on ever since they nerfed Gale Force. The original idea was you played Gale Force, you attacked, you went back to your hand, you attacked again, you just kind of win the game. I think this should be okay, we just can't play her on round 1. And then Challenge 11 is Jhin and Gangplank. Special rules are Blinking Flames, all spells and skills deal 1 extra damage, Tranquil Minds, Ionia cards cost 1 less. Ook Ook, game start, the foe summons a Powder Monkey, that doesn't really matter, and Flash of Steel. Round start, stun the player's strongest unit. That's the main reason why I chose to give Diana Gale Force. She's gonna get stunned anyway. I think I'd prefer to just have her return to hand, and then maybe we can just win on round 1. Guess ideally we take an Ionia champion, but I'm not seeing one. So I guess there's Ahri here. Ahri could return Diana to hand. Would be good. Every double Valor, which would be good, but it's expensive. Cloven Way is just kind of good, but we'll look for something else. Cost reduction on Pale Cascade is incredible. You actually take the free attack on Crescent Guardian, it's fine. You go into Jhin. When you strike the opponent's Nexus, they get a Blade's Edge in hand. Sometimes that's actually a big deal. So like I said, we can't play on 1 because of the stun thing. We probably won't have the power to win on turn 1.
We were peaceful once. I go where the winds blow. For now. Like that.
I think this is a little pointless of an attack,
It's our time.
because presumably they would block with the Powder Monkey, but I guess they didn't because of the Fearsome.
If we seek forgiveness, we embrace your fate as I have mine. I go willingly.
I think I'll just take the damage. I'll make it so that the Mountain Goat gets stunned. That'll let me trigger Nightfall, drop Diana.
Within the darkness. Yours is a light I cherish, Moon Sister.
What does that do to Blinking Flames? I don't want Diana to die, so I'll just send it back to hand. Also, I didn't realize that this guy just has no hit points.
Lunari, rise slow.
Had I been paying attention, I would have killed him without even thinking. Spirit Stone is good. It'll give me Kill Cascade when I play Diana. And Excavator's Charge, I guess. Shadow Totem. Maybe Shadow Totem is better.
I accept your terms.
Then we'll have 2. We have 2 Diana, so we're actually fine just playing 1 here. And then we will Pale. And we will Pale. And we will Pale. And we will Pale. Let's save this one. Shouldn't make a difference. Challenge 12 is Misfortune. Special rules are Empire above all, round end, grant all units +2/+0, and all the foe's units have regeneration. For this we're using Ekko, which is a champion that I definitely know exists. And for relics we're using Echoing Spirit and Double Stalker's Blade. Idea is that we make a bunch of fleeting time tricks, and then reduce the cost of Ekko. Ekko's champion spell I think is good. And you make a bunch of parallel convergences and then you win the game. I don't even know what his 4-star power is. I'm sure it'll be fine. misfortune is usually has a really rough starting round, and then after that is fine. I like taking some sort of like Giant's Belt on Ekko, just something defensive, because he only has 2 hit points, which makes him really susceptible to dying. He also costs 4, which, sure. Things that cost 4, in my opinion, are bad. You also don't want them to have 2 hit points if they cost 4. Just makes it so easy for them to die. Probably drop Misfortune here. We'll counter with Ekko. Only got 1 strike out of that, but it's fine. Time Winder with double charging sigil is probably pretty good, but we want to just keep predicting. And then the called shots create a parallel convergence. You can play them a lot of the time for free, and then eventually the idea is that you'll draw parallel convergence. So we can attack here. This should level us up. It gives us Chrono Breaks. Chrono Break gives us Rally, but we're not gonna really matter. Not gonna care about that because we're just gonna parallel convergence twice, removing all the enemies, winning the game. Challenge 13 is Nautilus with only the strong. Round end, kill all units except each player's strongest. In battlefield training, round start, grant the foe's weakest unit +1/+1. I think those are anti-synergistic. For this we're going to be using Elder Dragon. I'm actually going to go with Hidden Tome because I can. I so rarely get to use Epic Relics that it's fun when I can. I'm using Chemtech Duplicator and Hymn of Valor. I don't know if this is the best setup, to be perfectly honest. But it's Elder Dragon, so it doesn't matter too much. He's kind of just strong. Could take Rise for an alternate win condition, but especially with only the strong, maybe it's better. And we'll take double attack. We get something good here, that'd be fine. Generally speaking, there's not going to be anything good. Fall to Arms could be disastrous because of only the strong. The idea is going to be to get Elder Dragon on board, and then we should win. Let's go ahead and give him Overwhelm. That'll make it so that this guy is the strongest, which will kill that unit and give us extra mana. Can't really capitalize on the extra mana because our dragon still costs 5. Feel like I didn't pull the dragon that makes any of this stuff work, so it's fine. They're in deep. I'm gonna delve into the past first. might hold. You can stun with Rune Prism. Rune Prison? I actually win with Rise here. Oh no! That was maybe likely. We'll delve into the past again. Take refill spell mana. Attack the Scout. Attack again. Not quite leveled up. Guess I just delve into the past again. Play a shard. Block. Drop Rise. He has Spell Shield. I have 5 things on the board. So for Elise, we use Spear Cleaving Axe, Stream of Yordles, and Gale Force. I think there's like a pay-to-win relic you can put there instead, and that's supposed to be good as well. But this is fine. Special rules are Nautical Nuisance, round start refill all players' spell mana, and welcome to the crew. Round start give the player's strongest unit vulnerable this round. We have Sejuani and Fizz, and this should go fairly quickly. Elise is crazy. Taking a Philios, gives you a lot of protection against potential bad things happening. Because he can make lifesteal appear. So if for some reason everything goes wrong, if you have lifesteal, you're still probably pretty good.
Remember our promise, Aphelios.
Come closer. I don't fight.
So you attack. Even if Elise dies, it's totally fine. Because of Gale Force, she's going to return to the deck anyway. So if she were to die, it's really not that big of a deal.
It hurts because it must. I am with you. Won't suffer long.
Once she attacks, all of your Spiderlings have Scout, and when they have Scout, all they need to do is attack. You get a Spiderling if any of your units die.
Let's go paddling. Oh boy, here I go. Embrace the night, Aphelios. My strength is yours.
So I didn't draw Elise, which, you know, is a problem. But one interesting thing is that the Spiderlings will get the keywords of any of your champions. So I've given them Overwhelm and Lifesteal by just putting that on Philios.
Gimme, gimme.
Now we have Elise.
In the shadow.
So give them all Scout as well. And Challenger. And Spirit.
You won't suffer long.
And finally for this set we have Challenge 15, which is Draven. Special rules are all units have Scout, and Trick of the Light. Game start, the foe summons a 0/8 Mirror Mage. For this we're using Evelynn, Troll King's Crown. Actually, I'm switching that off for Siren's Call. Siren's Call forces you to draw Evelynn to start, which is great. Tempest Blade and Crown Guard Inheritance is a pay-to-win relic. But you could use Troll King's Crown or the Beast Within, those are also very good. Overwhelm is strong. Evelynn wins by playing a Husk, and then you play an Evelynn, and then you level up every round, and then you win the game. I don't know what I want here. You want to try not losing your units as much as possible. And if you can get cost reduction, that is also very good. Double attack's probably fine though.
Welcome to the League of Draven.
You want to have at least one thing that will generate a Husk.
If they don't break, they'll burn. Clear it out. Blast them.
This round is probably gonna hurt a lot. I can take 13 twice, it's fine.
Now we're cooking.
Block that.
Your path ends here.
Again, you want to kind of avoid killing your units because that affects how often you can level up, but I think in this situation I would rather just not die.
Don't worry. It's not my first time. Mind if I slip into something a little more painful?
All units have Scout.
Time for the money makers.
Could have killed this guy with Last Caress before I attacked. Then I wouldn't be in this situation. But it's fine.
Back on the prowl.
We're gonna rally anyway here.
Need just a moment.
Lights out. Yes, I fight.
And that is it for 1 through 15 of the June 2025 monthly challenges that we are doing alphabetically for some reason. Hope you enjoyed. I feel like it's a good chance to just show off all the champions and what they can do at their highest level, and it's not a thing I normally do, but hopefully it's fun to watch. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.